Hey, welcome back to Rosco Reviews.
I've got a Scag Patriot mower and I've got a really rough yard, so I went on Amazon and I bought this $150 low profile seat suspension, and it didn't come with really any instructions whatsoever, so let's go ahead and figure out how to put it on, and we can all learn something together. First step's going to be to flip the seat up and get a look and see what we're dealing with here. There's a release lever at the back will allow the seat to flip forward. On the bottom of the seat bracket there are 4 nuts that hold the seat on. And the seat has a slides on it, so we're going to end up putting the seat suspension between this plate and the slides on the actual seat. So we'll need to remove these 4 nuts first. With the 4 nuts off, I'm going to set the seat back down. I've removed those 4 nuts off the bottom of the seat, so I should just be able to lift it off of there now. There is still the seat safety switch that I'm going to need to unhook. Then I can pull the seat off. The best thing is going to be to attach the new suspension to the bottom of the seat, and then we'll put the bottom of all of it together back onto this plate on the bottom. Okay, with this low profile seat suspension, when you collapse it down, like when you put all your pressure on it and it weights down, I've got it turned down right now so that I can squish it by hand, but it actually travels beyond flat. Might be hard to tell on there. If I put that side flat down on the bottom, it's going to bottom it out sooner than it would, so it won't have the full distance of travel. So I don't want to put the flat side, what it's labeling as the bottom side, directly down onto the flat bottom. However, my Scag mower has little spacers that were in there between the seat slides and the bottom. So I could set it on top of those and do it right side up like it says. But I'm already going to be adding about 4 inches or so, 3 inches maybe, of additional height to the seat, and with the handles, I'm worried that it's going to be too tall. So what I think I'm going to try to do first is flip the whole thing upside down from what it says to do, and mount it upside down underneath the seat, because that will allow the range of travel between here, and then I can not use the spacers on the bottom. So I might try that first. Either way, however, I'm going to have to drill a couple new holes because, let's see, we go that way. The holes width-wise are good, so I can use 2 of them, but they don't line up on the top, so I've got to drill a new hole on each side. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm going to need to drill a new hole on both sides of the plate, so I got to do one on this side, and then I'm going to have to do this side as well. I've got it marked on here. Okay, now that I've got all my holes drilled, I had to shorten up the length between the holes on both sides, so I'm ready to go ahead and get this thing started mounting. Okay, now I'm going to put this on upside down like I said. And my holes that I made should line up. Good, okay. You want to remember to put the adjusting handle toward the front of the seat, so you'll be able to adjust it between your legs. And if it's back here, then it'll get in the way of the motor and stuff. So you want to have the handle on the front side. And then I'm going to use the same nuts that I took off the bottom of the plate that we're holding the seat on to hold it to the bracket. So I'll put all those on, and then the suspension comes with some bolts and nuts and washers and stuff, and I'll use those to connect the bottom of it down to the plate. Alright, now this part might get a little bit tricky to get it all lined up right. I've noticed that since I'm mounting this upside down, I've got the flat side on the bottom And I did that, remember, to avoid having to put the spacers in here to try to drop the seat level down and keep it underneath the handles. But it has this cable that keeps the seat from going all the way forward. Well, I'm just gonna, it sticks up here and it gets in the way, so I'm just gonna remove it. Which will allow that bracket to fall all the way forward. Alright, this is going to be where it's a little tricky to try to get the holes lined up with the bolts. I think I'm going to want to go down through the top. Once I get one in there, it'll probably go a little easier. Alright, I'm going to get the rest of these secured on and then we'll see how it sits. Okay, I've got all my bolts tightened. One thing I did notice was this, the kill switch for the seat. It does go through this little hole that was already made in the bracket. So I got lucky that I didn't have to make a new hole for that. But you have to put it through there before you screw the seat on or you won't be able to get the plug through the hole. So you just got to put that through first. And then I also noticed that since I've taken this cable off, with the added depth of the suspension, this cord no longer will reach. If I fold the seat all the way forward, it's going to stretch this cord too far. So I've braced it up with the control arms right now, but really there's not a whole lot of reason to be flipping the seat forward. The battery's not underneath here or anything, so once I fold it back down, I shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. You just have to remember not to throw the seat all the way forward or it'll pull that cord out. I'm not a big fan of the seat switches anyway, so I might remove it later, but for now, let's flip it up, give her a try. Alright, we've got it all installed. It might take a little bit of adjusting because the knob on the front is to adjust for the weight of the rider. May have tightened up a little bit more for me. It does travel up and down about 3 inches maybe. And the way I have it mounted, the seat still slides forward and backward so I can accommodate different size people. And the little knob that tightens and loosens it, since I've got it mounted upside down, it sits all the way down on the deck, but it still has enough room that I can turn it. So, it'll be fine. I'm pretty happy with how it installed. I'll mow the grass tomorrow and see how it checks out, and I'll let you know. Okay, I've had the opportunity to mow a couple of times now, and overall I like it. It's a little bouncy, so you gotta kind of get used to it. But a couple things, I'm glad I mounted it upside down so I could do it without the additional spacers, because if it raises it up too much, you're not going to be able to move this forward and backward as easily. I still got quite a bit of clearance since it's a low profile seat spring. The other thing that I like about it is even though I had to drill a couple of holes in the bracket itself to make it work, I didn't have to modify my mower at all, so it didn't change anything with the mower. If I wanted to take it back off, it would be real easy to do. So overall, I'd give it a thumbs up. If your yard is rough, this did take a lot of the teeth jarring bumps out. So.